And Kevin, obviously, since you've been over in Toronto, there's big news with the Republic of Ireland senior team. Obviously, changing managers. Mick McCarthy will not get to lead us into those playoffs, which would have obviously been trying to qualify for this summer's tournament, which will be next summer. Tell us a little bit about Mick, Kev. I know you obviously played plenty of games for him in that green jersey. What's he like as a character, and do you feel a little bit for him at the present time not getting that opportunity to lead his country into a Euro finals?
Yes, I do feel for him. I think everybody understands that, once you start a job, that you want to try and complete that job, and the completion of that job would have been this summer. But as we've spoken about at every level of football, we're in different times now. And I think Mick realistically himself would have wanted to. I think Mick walked away with dignity. I think everything that he said, the statements that he released were typical Mick McCarthy. He's a class act. Ever since I've known him since I was 19, such a long time ago now, he is a class act. He's brilliant to talk to one-on-one. He's brilliant certainly when you're in company, when there's others around you. And I think he handles media obligations brilliantly as well. So I think he will be a little bit hurt that he never got the chance to see it through. But can you imagine how it would have? I just can imagine how it would have been if Mick would have stayed in his position, and obviously with the Euros moving to 2021, it would have been the constant questioning of him. It would have been the constant reminder in the back of his mind that Stephen Kenny's contract was due to start in July, August time. So I agree with the FAI's decision. I think they did make the right decision in the end, and I think Mick walked away with his head held high. And I think we've just got exciting times ahead now. I do think it's always nice when there's a new beginning, and certainly been a supporter all my life of the team. When predominantly under Big Jack when I was a kid, it was just basically about getting behind the side, and hopefully now we've got something maybe to look forward to with the backroom staff that's with Stephen Kenny going forward. I think we've got an exciting team of coaches and management team that's going to take the team forward now, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
And Kev, tell us a little bit about the characteristics of Duffer and Keith Andrews, who of course are going to come in with Stephen. I thought Stephen made the right decision. You want your own backroom team when you're going in to start, because you don't want any kind of, you just want a clean slate. You want to bring your own men in. They're on the same path as you. They have the same goals as you. What about Duffer and Keith Andrews? What will they bring?
Yeah, I understand his decision too. I think he's made that decision to bring his own coaching staff in, just to say, well, look, this is me now. We've moved away from Mick McCarthy. We've moved away from Martin O'Neill era. It's going to be a total new team around him, which I can totally understand why he's done that. Damien, well, when Damien was a player, Damien just never got up out of bed. So he used to sleep for 20 hours a day, and then we'd
save all his energy.
Yeah, we train for 4 hours a day. I think everybody knows he's one of the most gifted footballers that we've ever produced. Supremely talented, and you know what, Damien and I had a great relationship, and Damien actually moved positions when I was playing in the side. Damien could have played anywhere. Let's be honest. He played on the right hand side. He played up front as a number 10. He did play on the left wing where he would have considered his most natural position, but when I was playing there, Damien was accommodated in a different position, and he just used to get on with things, and phenomenal in training. You use those words around so many different people, but Damien, I do feel, is probably one of them, if not the most talented player that we've ever produced. I really think that because of his dribbling ability and the things that he brought to a game, and that's why he went on to play for Chelsea and did so well for himself. And I think he'll bring something. Damien's very deep thinking. He's very methodical with everything that he would do in terms of his coaching style as well. And he's very pushy as well. Damien is a laid-back lad. He would always be very, very calm, but he's very pushy. He'll want to push players. He'll want to try and get them to the next level, continuously trying to improve players. And I think that'll be beneficial. I mean, as for Keith, Keith's got a mouth on him. I think anyone will testify to that would have played alongside him.
Lovely head of hair.
Great head of hair. He's got a great head of hair. Yeah. Unlike you and me, isn't it?
I know. The comb overs are gone.
The comb over and all wing backs pushing on. Yeah. Keith used to keep it all nice and trimmed when he was a player. So he used to have that big fat head in him. No, Keith again, another one. Very, very. The last couple of years of his career was always very much coaching. Or he had a coaching mindset. He wanted to move into coaching. He finished his last few years as a player coach when he was finishing up at MK Dons. He's worked with a lot of coaches. Keith got a lot of experience behind him. He's still so young. He's still in his 30s, Keith, but he's still got a vast, he's got a vast coaching experience at various levels of the game. So I think Stephen Kenny will certainly feel the benefit of having Keith alongside him as well. And Keith, like I said before, very methodical, very, very like Damien, deep thinking, always thinking about the next session in terms of his coaching. And I think that's got to be the way when anyone's coaching. I've got a great relationship with both of them, so it's difficult. You're asking someone as a friend, what do I think of them? And I couldn't speak highly enough of either of them. But they are very different characters. But I think Stephen Kenny will benefit from having those two, particularly for their experience at actually playing at international level as well, because I don't think that can be undervalued at all.
And Kev, when you look at kind of the squad and you look at how well Stephen obviously done with Dundalk, and then he moved on to the 21s, and the style of play that he brings to his teams, and that he almost insists upon his players that they've got to be ball players. And you look at the young lads, the likes of Troy Parrott with Spurs, Obafemi with Southampton. You've got young Connolly with Brighton, the young lad who got the hat-trick for Norwich in the FA Cup.
Adam Ida.
And, you're looking at Scott Hogan, got 7 goals in 8 games for Birmingham on loan from Villa. Like, you are looking at these type of younger players, and with Stephen's track record with working with young players and developing young players, do you think it's looking bright for the boys in green at the moment?
Yeah, I think there's still a lot to be done. My only concern is that we're putting probably a little bit too much pressure on the players, but I think the modern mindset of the modern player's mindset is basically you've got to try. They've been through so much to get to the position that they're actually in, that the odds are stacked heavily against any footballer. So to get to the level that they're at right now is extremely difficult, and it does take a stronger mindset to get to the position that they're actually in. So my only worry would be a little bit too much too soon, putting a little bit too much pressure on them. But Stephen Kenny has to be the one that tries to play that down and tries to keep them calm in certain situations. I think the major concern really for Stephen Kenny, yes, I think there's a number of issues around youngsters and how he's going to integrate them and how he's going to get their experience. Is going to be the fixtures and how international football is going to be a bit of a mess for a few years now. And Stephen Kenny's taking over this, because how are we going to fit in qualifiers, how we're going to fit in Nations League, then into the next qualification for the World Cup. Everything's a bit of a mess, and we're going to be into the qualifier. It's all going to work, and this is the problem for Stephen Kenny. I think that we're going to have so many high-profile games without necessarily having a lot of time with his group of players, and that's got to be a concern for him personally. But I think with what he's done with the 21s, he's gelled that younger group together. There'll be a lot of that under 21 squad that will be coming into the senior setup. I think that's going to be good that they'll be coming through together. We'll probably see some retirements, or maybe even players that maybe will be asked to step aside from Stephen Kenny or won't even be picked, which of course won't go down well with a certain core of the squad that's already in there. But that's got to be done. Stephen Kenny will know that himself, and I think there will be changes, and I think it is exciting. I think, as I was saying before, any supporter of the team over the years, we've always had hard-working Irish sides. We've had a bit of class along the way. Don't get me wrong. We've had some very, very good players over the years, but we are expecting now a different style that we've certainly through my lifetime that we've ever seen. And I think that we're all looking forward to what Stephen Kenny and his management and his coaching team is going to bring to the country. And we're all looking forward to the style of football that will be played.